When you tell yourself things like, I can't do that, that's crazy, or that's impossible, do you automatically give up? Or do you give yourself the opportunity to discover what you're capable of? You're listening to Pure Light, where we explore how you can believe in yourself and be happy with who you are, so that you feel worthy of your craziest dreams and confident in your power to make them happen. My name is Ailey. I'm a coach, writer, and Kundalini yoga and meditation teacher. This is episode 102. So right after I published the episode, I Can't Do That, That's Crazy, which was 2 episodes back, I came across this quote from Muhammad Ali. Impossible is just a big word thrown around by small men and women who find it easier to live in the world they've been given than to explore the power they have to change it. And it made me realize something about some of the things I've been talking about lately. Like, it added another dimension to it that I want to talk about in this episode, which is the willingness to explore your power. So you may remember in the last episode when I talked about your relationship with life, when it comes to the external part of that and moving your life forward, I said there's a spectrum. And at one end of the spectrum, life is happening to you. And at the other end, you're creating it. Or really, you're co-creating it with the universe. So whenever you have an idea to do something that you're excited about, something that's fun or that'll expand you in some way, and you dismiss it because you tell yourself, I can't do that, that's crazy, I can't do that, that's impossible, or whatever that reason may be, it's a way of choosing to be powerless. Because what's really happening is you're choosing to be at the passive end of the spectrum and choosing the perspective that says, I can't do anything. And that perspective is a choice, although it's often an unconscious choice, because it can be something that happens automatically based on the thought, and the thought happens automatically. So you end up dismissing the idea that excites you with no real conscious deliberation. And when you do that, you can create a pattern of doing that. If you get into that pattern of talking yourself out of doing the things that you want, you're no longer driving your life. The reasons that you have for not moving forward are. And all this is simply because the willingness to explore your power is missing. So I want to say a couple things before I go any further. The first is that sometimes the reasons you have for not moving forward are totally valid. Like, you can't train for a marathon if your leg is broken. The only person who can truly assess whether or not your reasons are valid is you. And you can tell not based on what you think about it, because then you can get into rationalizations, but based on how you feel about it. Your feelings will always tell you the truth. And the next thing I want to say is you don't have to know how to make your idea come to life. Like, I think there's often an assumption, which again may be unconscious, that we should know how to get to where we want to go, because there's a gap between who you are now and who you need to be to realize that goal or make that dream come true. And that's not a problem or a bad thing. It's an opportunity for growth. The excitement is a sign that your soul is inviting you to evolve. And then the third thing I want to say is you don't have to do anything crazy or huge to start moving in the direction of the idea that excites you. You just have to start doing something, even if it's like the tiniest thing. Because if you're doing something active instead of just thinking about it, you're showing yourself that you're willing to explore your power. So you just have to take the next step and trust that the path will unfold as you're walking it. Kind of like that Indiana Jones movie where he knows the path he needs to take and it looks like there's no bridge. And he has to step out and take a leap of faith and trust that the invisible bridge will be there to support him. As soon as you start moving forward, you're operating under the assumption that you have some kind of power and are willing to explore what that is. When you're willing to explore your power, you take responsibility for your relationship with life. You take responsibility for where you're going, even if you don't know how to get there yet. And you take responsibility for your inner state because you're noticing those thoughts, the ones that dismiss your ideas, and you're choosing how you want to deal with them, which is to not listen to them and not let them drive you, and instead use your feelings as your guide. And as a result, you have less resistance and more peace. And you also give yourself the opportunity to trust yourself, to trust that knowing within you. Only you know what's best for you. When you're willing to explore your power, you're contributing to the perception that you are capable and that you can figure this out. If you want to start making that shift and seeing yourself as capable, you can get some tools to help with that by signing up for my email list. You'll get a tool to help you stop letting your excuses get in the way, as well as 3 things you can do to trust yourself at a deeper level. To get those, go to purelightpodcast.com, click on the button that says Get Self-Love Strategies, and sign up with your name and email. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time, may you be guided by your light.